We've started up the little engine, sending out the digital pixel train. Soon it'll get to the station and get to your computer. It looks like it's live now. Look at that. Welcome to Hug Nation Live. I am John Halcyon. This is a daily practice, and it's going to change a little bit today, starting today, or at least in the way I explain it or talk about it. It's always been, and it will continue to be, a place to share gratitude, to hear your gratitude, to share my gratitude, to amplify one another's gratitude, as well as a place to set our intentions for the day. But I'm also going to invite questions, uh, whether that be I'm going through something tough, I'd like some thoughts or guidance, or relationship advice, communication thoughts, men's issues, sobriety stuff, whatever life struggles that you might be going through, or uh, advice. What gift should I get my little brother? I want to expand this morning practice to include a little bit more dialogue, a little bit more of an opportunity to engage with one another. Good morning, Pacific Truffle Growers. Good morning. Thanks for saying hello. I was talking to someone yesterday and telling them that I'm available every day, and this person was like, "Oh, I didn't realize that I could check in, like, get your basically I could ask you a question, or I could get some guidance during these morning broadcasts." I was like, "Oh, definitely. Oh, I should make that clear. I definitely, in addition to gratitude, this is a chance to check in and connect, and part of connecting is uh I've lived some good years and learned some big things, and while I don't know everything, I know a few things, and I don't know if I'm right, and I won't claim. Uh, I won't overclaim, but I'll happily share my thoughts on whatever is going through your world. Welcome, Rachel Struthers. Welcome, Kiki. Welcome, Juan and JM. Ooh, I can see in my mirror that I've got a little hanging booger there. My apologies for inflicting a dangler on you. Anybody want to share some gratitude? I'm grateful that I had a chance to our timing worked, that I got a little cuddling with Lisa this morning, and then I gave her a ride to drop off her car. So grateful that I had the spaciousness to give her a ride. Grateful that we both have working cars and the resources to get scheduled maintenance done. Grateful that we woke up early enough and at the same time so that we could cuddle a bit in the morning. That is really the peak experience for me, is holding my beloved and just meditating and becoming aware of all the places where we are touching and feeling her warmth. That is, I'm so grateful that I have her presence in my life, as well as her wisdom and her role modeling and her communication. I'm so grateful for Lisa. JM says, I am grateful for all kinds of mushrooms. Hear, hear. So that comment came in from YouTube, but over on Instagram, we've got Pacific Truffle Growers, who is grateful for this Southern California day. I'm guessing that Pacific Truffle Growers is saying, yeah, when you shared about your gratitude for mushrooms. I too am grateful for mushrooms. In fact, the podcast that I do with Betsy, Stay Sparked, our sponsor, Lucid, is a functional mushroom beverage that is delicious and awesome. Highly recommend it. And I highly recommended Stay Sparked. Our most recent episode, we interview Autumn Sky, who is an incredible artist, an inspiring person, and workshop leader. And we had a great conversation about creativity and permission to create. And if you haven't yet dipped a toe into Stay Sparked, it's a great one to just see the kind of vibe that we bring. I know a lot of people that just like to play it in the mornings. I talked to someone recently who said, I listen to it on my morning commute because I don't have a lot of people like you and Betsy in my life. And so it's awesome to just have a little taste of positivity and gratitude and creativity and that kind of energy in my morning. So please give Stay Sparked a try. You can find it on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you do those things. Pacific Truffle says, I'm grateful that I popped online just in time to catch this live Hug Nation time. Saying, I'm a mycologist. Go mushrooms. And Misty is here. Good morning, Misty. Misty, has my sister-in-law reached out to you yet? My sister-in-law sent a message to Lisa and I saying, I want to get your brother some handpan classes. Do you know anybody that teaches handpan? And Lisa and I were both, well, we know one person, but I don't know. She's pretty aggressive. No, I'm just kidding. We said, actually, my brother knows Misty. That would be perfect. So hope you're having a good day, Misty. If you were here, I would love to hear what you're grateful for. Edna says, I'm grateful for maintenance that showed up first thing this morning to address a leak in my unit. Yay! Yay for attendant landlords and property managers. That's something I've been we're renting where we are now. And boy, am I grateful for the care that we get from this property management company. Like I'll send them a note saying like, hey, are we responsible for the gutters? Because I think they need some attention. And then like an hour later, I get a call. Hey, we're here let's schedule a time to fix your gutters. I'm like, oh, awesome. Thanks. Welcome, Lazarus. Good morning, Pierre. Or good evening, I should say. This is a global experience. Natasha says, I'm grateful that you and Lisa had some cuddles this morning. Thanks. I had a little bit, I've had a few days of being a little unsettled in certain spaces of my future and identity, and having some moments of pure presence in a cuddle is a nice antidote to mind spinning, future tripping stuff. Pierre says, grateful for a new job and some lifestyle changes. Ooh, the world's most interesting man just gets more and more interesting. Juan says, I'm grateful for having a quiet, safe place to sleep and an electric heater for 2 weeks now. I feel so much better. I'm happy to hear that. A quiet, safe place to sleep. Isn't that I love a gratitude practice because the very act of thinking about what you're grateful for makes your life more enjoyable. It makes you remember the good things that are happening, and it takes from below your awareness level the things that are good that you're taking for granted and brings them above that. Like, oh, yes, I have a safe, warm place to sleep every night. I didn't even occur to me to be thinking about that and grateful for that. I mentioned recently, I've been thinking about how grateful I am that I'm fluent in the language of this city, and what a different pile of struggles I would have if English was not my native tongue. I hadn't really included that in my blessings, my gifts, my gratitude, my privilege for, that hadn't been a part of my list. So now I'm including that. Silly lizard brain, says Natasha. Totally. Oh, man, this brain, it's the lizard brain. It's also the human, the ego mind that is problematic. Anybody else want to share any gratitude? I mentioned at the start that I'm going to be speaking and not marketing, but like this morning broadcast is going to be a gratitude share as well as like a chance to throw a question or I would love to be kind of if someone is not ready to hire me as a coach, but just says, "Hey, can I get a little guidance here, or do you have any advice for this situation?" I would love to include that as part of these morning broadcasts, which occasionally we do that, but I want to just make it a little bit more official. Um, you know what? I wanted to acknowledge that for a long time I sang a song every morning as improv, and then I stopped, and I'm not sure exactly why. But I think I think one of the reasons I stopped is because I was worried that people were watching a broadcast for the first time, and it starts off, and they hear me sing a not good song and never continue listening, and I was like, "I'm not sure if that is the right way." That's not a very good hook because it's not representative of what this is, so I've kind of been postponing that, but I think it's it is a good exercise for my mind that I think I should continue. Natasha says, "I guess I'm grateful for these silly dogs." Well, this song I'm making now is about silly, silly dogs. And if you've got a house to build, you better get some logs. And if you're grateful for the sun and for the sky, you can find gratitude for everything hits your eye. 'Cause it's love morning. It's Hug Nation time. There we go. Back on track. Uh, anyone else want to share things that they are grateful for? I am grateful that um, I had a nice phone call with my parents yesterday. I'm grateful for a talk that I had with Lisa. I was starting to get a little discouraged about some stuff, and she helped me reframe things in a way that made me feel uh, more hopeful and more competent. Thank you. I see some applause. Thank you, thank you. I am grateful for how plant medicine has helped me to free my voice, feel much more comfortable letting song through me. I'm grateful that I just started rereading my first book that was published in like 2009, I think, 2000, Love More, Fear Less, Float More, Steer Less. And I I just decided that like I realized that I have a new friend that I wanted to gift it to, and I'm like, I don't even have any copies. So I went on Amazon, I bought all the used copies that were for sale, and I was rereading and was really enjoying like hearing my voice from 16 years ago, sharing things that were important, certain shifts in my mind. Some things there was like so there's one essay I wrote about light spreading versus dark fighting because out of college I worked as a counselor with emotionally disturbed boys, and it was very challenging for me, and it really broke me in terms of it broke my spirit just seeing how damaged these little boys were, and much how little it helped to work with them for almost 2 years. And so this essay is about how there is value to working to spread love in the world, as well as there is value to working to diminish the darkness. So there's value to working with the disturbed kids. There's also value to trying to create an environment where there's fewer kids that fall into those circumstances. Because I used to get when I was younger, people would see me talking about hugging and love, spreading love, and they'd be like, "Dude, why don't you go work in a soup kitchen and do some real good?" And I would be like, I'm not denying that working in a soup kitchen is important, but there's room for both. It's kind of like if I was installing an irrigation system at a farm and somebody comes by and goes, "You want to help this farmer? Why don't you go do some weeding?" It's like, well, no, I mean, the weeding is needed right now, and the irrigation is going to change the whole structure of this system. Now, what I didn't know when I wrote that essay is that this path of trying to spread light and practicing gifting would lead me to do First Saturdays, which is a kind of a combination of light spreading and dark fighting. It is homeless outreach, but because of the journey that I went through, it is not a heavy process of having to like get in the dark trenches. It is a joyous, loving, gifting experience that still does the same functionality of fighting darkness, but does it with a vibe of light spreading. And so it's funny to be like reading this so many years later, knowing like, oh, those people yelling at me, "Why don't you work in the soup kitchen?" Like, oh, give me a few years. I will create a charity that will then serve food to the homeless for now running on 16 years. So just let me cook. Welcome, H. Kobe and Sarah and Mamond and Zule. Welcome, Vesper. Vesper says, grateful my dog made it through the night. Headed back to the emergency vet this morning. Hopefully he will turn the corner and start feeling better soon. He is my soul dog and I hate to see him suffering. Ooh. Sending lots of faith and hope and healing and love your way. That sounds like a very tough place to be. So holding you tightly, much love and hope, and seeing you both healthy together in the future. Welcome, Maven. Anybody else want to share any gratitude or have a question or a place in their life they wouldn't mind a little input or guidance or thoughts? I would love to share. I'd like to let people know that there are still spots for the mini retreat I'm running in January. Would love to spend a weekend with you and a small group of people to charge up and build up our resources, our coffers of gratitude and optimism, so we can be the activists of optimism and hope in the world as we go into next year. Natasha, I am struggling to remember what that comment is in response to. That shows you how bad my memory is. High Noon made it. Good morning. Good day to you. I am grateful that I finally ordered my final copies of. Oh, I've still got a booger there. What's going on? This is no good. Excuse me. Oh, well. I guess you got to love me as is. Welcome, Jesus Would Never. Welcome, Inimad. Struthers, Rachel says, how do I start a spiritual cleanse? Feeling dull, alone, was in a relationship that was not the best, and I want to try and get back to the outgoing, adventurous me. Well, first off, congratulations on being on the other side of that relationship. I know that my closest thing to a spiritual cleanse was about a little over 3 years ago when I started my journey of sobriety off my problem chemicals. There was a book that I read that was really helpful called Self-Observation by an author named Red Hawk. But really, I think getting any book like The Power of Now would be a good one. Byron Katie's The Work. These are some books that that like reading it slowly and digesting it. Um, and and then I would have a practice of going to a place like I had a favorite tree in Balboa Park that I would go there and I would read this book slowly and sometimes reread a passage and reread a passage and just try to be as present as possible. Meaning, when my story started getting me into what's gone wrong and what could go wrong, be no, 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 just like the I'm investing in me by being as present as possible. And part of that is letting go of any story of like, I need things to be better, or I want to feel better, or it's like, no, no, I just need, I need to be as present as I can and surrender and listen to this wisdom, whatever book that you choose. Like, what's another good one? The Untethered Soul is another one that I might suggest of, um, and just unhooking from life and re reacquainting yourself to observing your thoughts, your body, the tensions in you, and that practice of continually coming back to what you're currently experiencing, I think is a really good way to cleanse because you start to be able to distinguish what is a thought feeling that is coming into the present from the past or from the future, and what is truly real, which is you sitting in a park with a book. And if you think about it, is is there any negative feeling you have about you sitting in a park with a book? It's fiction, right? Because your higher self knows that the it's good for you to be doing that. So it's for me, that was a really like really consciously setting these bubbles of time where I tried to kind of take a step outside of time and just be present. That was the most cleansing process for me. Good luck. Natasha says, I love Red Hawk's book. Oh, I'd never have talked to anyone that read it unless, were you the one that sent it to me? Gosh, that booger is still there. This is, well, I want to pick my nose right now. Keep in mind, I lived in a webcam house for 2 years, so I'm no stranger to public nose picking. When I started my sobriety, someone sent me that book and anonymously, and it it was really helpful to me. Ooh, High Noon is suggesting "Be Here Now" by Ram Dass. That's a great one too. That'd be a good little list of when in doubt, read these. One of my coaching clients, we were talking last week, and we both were like, "Is there ever a situation when listening to a Ram Dass lecture doesn't make things better?" I don't think so. So, highly recommend uh, listening to Ram Dass podcasts or lectures. There's tons available for free. Also, the guy who wrote The Untethered Soul, I'm drawing a blank, but his podcast or his lectures, I think are really, really good as well. Oh, Natasha says, no, you recommended it to me. Well, then I'm glad that you enjoyed it. Pacific Truffle says, we can't see your boogers, but pick them. You can pick your friends. You can pick your nose. And if you were here, I would let you pick my nose. Anyone else want to share any gratitude or have a question or thought? Thank you for sharing that, Rachel. Rachel says, I'm currently about to go on a hike in the rain. Yes! That's beautiful. I love that for you. And I think that's the perfect choice of how to take your mind and body into this next chapter. Anyone else want to have a question or a gratitude share? JM says, I'm grateful my food delivery account broke and now I have to cook again. Heinun says we could make a gratitude circle resource list. That's a good idea. I think I have like an Amazon list of resources. I should look that up and see if it's still available. Let me make a note to myself. Book list. Book list? Question mark. Amazon? I know Amazon is not where you have to buy it, but they had a tool that you could make lists in the past. Speaking of lists, if you haven't checked it out yet, I think I'm going to test it right now. But if I go to shopping.hugnation.com, it has friends. It's the shopping. Yeah, it is shopping.hugnation.com is a redirect to a page that has holiday gift things that are being offered by friends of mine or friends of their friends. So if you sell something that could be used as a Christmas gift, send me the link and I'll add it to that list. And if you're trying to figure out gifts to buy and you don't want to just hand money over to Bezos, browse and see if there's anything there that might be a possible gift idea. Michael Singer. Yes, Natasha, thank you. Michael Singer is the author of The Untethered Soul and a really wonderful spiritual worldview as well as tone. He's not what you would expect, at least. My favorite spiritual teachers are the ones that don't sound like spiritual teachers. They sound like people that you might meet at a dive bar and that are funny and don't take it too seriously. All of my favorite teachers, Alan Watts, Ram Dass, Jacob Glass, Michael Singer, all of them are funny. And clearly, if you know me, you know that humor is part of the spiritual path, is filled with laughter, in my opinion. Pacific Truffle Grower says Bashar, the formula. You can find it on YouTube. It's so good. Follow your passion, like hike in the rain. Yeah. And also, Pacific Truffle also saying that Singer has a free podcast on Audible. It's so good. He's such a badass. Bashar is someone who he's on the far end of woo for me. I'm more of a woo guy, and he's a woo double woo. But I went to go see him at Lightning in a Bottle, I don't know, over 10 years ago. And I went because I just thought it'd be funny. And I was kind of getting ready to like laugh at this guy who's channeling aliens. And about 5 minutes into his talk, I was like, his words, wherever they were coming from, were resonating so profoundly that I was like tingling and like, whoa. So I agree. Bashar, while he is not my favorite delivery mechanism, his truth is pretty, or I'd say to me about 80% of his truth is perfect. Valetta says, grateful to be ready as I can be for below zero temps coming to me. Cozy is best at below zero for now. Well, I'll send you my extra blankets. Denise, so good to see you. Denise is grateful for butternut squash. I'm making soup. Grateful for upcoming surgery. Hope you heal so quickly. Pacific Truffle Grower says, Ram Dass in a dive bar. Haha. I mean, I guess what I mean by that is like Ram Dass is funny, and he acknowledges his humanness, and acknowledges his vanity and so it's like you have he, he's he never puts himself in this place of enlightened master teaching to the lost students. It's always this humility of like, yeah, I sometimes am in touch with this really profound wisdom, and I'm still having a human experience, and it's in that holding both that the really like actionable wisdom comes, I think. Oh, what time is it? Ooh, we've been here 30 minutes. Anyone else have any gratitude to share, or a suggestion of a book or a question about their life? If not, I'm here pretty much every day. Heinen says, gratitude for you all sharing these insights to life. If no one says it to you today, you are a rock star. JM says, God plus Jello shots. That's the recipe for a digestible, valuable spiritual teacher. I think so. Although, since I'm not drinking anymore, maybe I would say God plus lube. Pacific Truffle recommends Becoming Supernatural by Joe Dispenza. Well, this is fun. Thanks for being here. Thanks for adding your good vibes to this collective cauldron that we are now making, this stew that we can all fill our bellies with hope and gratitude, and bring that and ladle it out all day long to everyone that we cross paths with. So thanks for your contributions and your energy and your vibe. I'm grateful for this practice and this opportunity, these reminders that there are so many other people out there like us, that if we can shelter ourselves from the media messages of conflict and others and us and them, that we can remember there's a lot of us, and at some level there's only us. Hello, Kismetsilki. Hello to you from in Canada. Or Mel. Carmel. Sorry, however you pronounce your name. Good morning. Good day. Hello to you in Canada. Denise says, true story. I had a patient who was actively passing away. I asked the doc available to discontinue all his medications. He left the eye drops on the profile. I turned to the MD and asked if he left the eye drops so he could see the light. LOL. We all needed that joke because it was during COVID and we all needed that humor. Thank you. Surgery is scheduled. I know and have faith that your surgery will be exactly what your body needs. So with that, wherever you are, let's close with a hug. So let's physically hug ourselves, and please do this wherever you are, even if people are looking at you funny. But as you're hugging yourselves, recognize that this is a symbolic hug, and those arms that are holding you right now are not yours, they're mine. And all the people's names that I've read, and all the people who are going to watch this archive, and all the people who have ever been through this space of Hug Nation over the last 25 years, 4 years. And so as you're feeling held, held a part of that massive community of like-minded, open-hearted people, feeling grateful for this magnification of one another's gratitude, the amplification of the positivity. Let us be support for one another. Let us be the cheerleaders for one another. Let us be the radio towers that receive and amplify the gratitude of each other. Let's take a deep breath in and squeeze. On behalf of Grandpa Caleb, Reverend Elroy Sheichels, and everyone here, thanks for being here for Hug Nation Live. Check out lifestudent.com for links to all my stuff. If you want to join me live in San Diego for a mini retreat, send me a note or go to meetup.hugnation.com. Hello to you in Calgary. Hi, Rooster. Hello, Anastasia. I hope you're having a beautiful day. Bye, everyone. I love you.